Good morning, Class 8. Today, the topic of discussion is characteristics of sound. Characteristics of sound are wavelength, amplitude, frequency, time period, speed, loudness, pitch, quality, or timbre. Wavelength. Let us discuss each of these characteristics one by one. What is wavelength? Wavelength is the distance between two consecutive crests or two consecutive troughs. Wavelength is represented by Greek letter lambda. The SI unit for wavelength is meter. Next, characteristics of sound is amplitude. Amplitude is the maximum distance a vibrating body or oscillating body from its position of rest. Or in other words, we can say the maximum displacement of an oscillating object from its central position. Now let us understand the amplitude by taking the example of a simple pendulum. What is a simple pendulum? It consists of a bob of mass m hanging from a string of length L. It is fixed at a point P. Pull the bob at one of its ends, say A, and leave it. The pendulum starts oscillating from point A to B and then to C, and it comes back. The point B is called the mean position of the pendulum. Here, amplitude is the maximum distance traveled by the bob of the pendulum on either side. The characteristics of sound is frequency. Frequency is defined as a number of oscillations per second. It is denoted by the Greek letter nu. Its unit is hertz and it is the reciprocal of time period. If nu is the frequency and t is the time period, then we can write nu is equals to 1 by t. That is 1 by time period. Next is time period. What is time period? It is the time taken by the vibrating object to complete one oscillation. Time period is represented by the letter capital T. The unit, SI unit of time period is second. Now consider the previous example of the simple pendulum. Pendulum is said to complete one oscillation when the bob of the pendulum travels from A to point C and then again to point A. We can say one oscillation is equals to BA plus AC plus CB. We can measure the time taken to complete one oscillation using a stopwatch. Pull the bob of the pendulum to one end and release it. The pendulum starts oscillating. Now start the stopwatch. Note the time taken to complete 20 oscillations. Time period can be calculated by dividing the time taken by the number of oscillations. Next we have speed. Speed is defined as the distance traveled by the time taken. Velocity or speed of sound is represented by the letter V and time by t. So we can write velocity as V is equals to S by t. SI unit of speed is meter per second. Now speed of sound varies in solids, liquids and gases. In dry air, the speed of sound is 332 meter per second, whereas in humid air, the speed of sound is 400 meter per second, whereas the speed of sound in water is 1450 meter per second.